All right, what's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Hegshot. Thanks so much for joining me today as I'm going to talk about the top 5 things I would never do with my carry gun and I would recommend nobody do with their carry gun. If this is your first time stopping by, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit your notifications so you never miss a video from me right here, and also check out the links in the description to my other channels if you like motorcycles, gaming, music, my type of music. Check those links down below. Check those channels out, man. I'd love to have each and every one of y'all come over there if you like what I do over there and join those communities as well because they are awesome. And if you want to support my channel right here, you can do that through Patreon. Of course, I'll leave a link to that as well. This is going to be a fun conversation, man, because, you know, I've been carrying a gun since 2014. That's when I started this channel. That's when I started carrying. I've learned a lot in that time. And these are things, like I said, they're just my recommendations, right? So I'm just a guy on the internet that has an audience that I want to tell you things I will never do with my carry gun. Leave me a list down below of what you would recommend people to not do with their carry gun specifically. And I might use those in a video in the future. You never know. Thank you guys. Let's go ahead and get into it. If you're in the market for a red dot but you don't want to break the bank, check out the Sightmark Ultra Shot M-Spec series. I think y'all will be impressed because not only does this come with a ton of features, but it's at a price that's kind of unbelievable. This one specifically features a magnesium body and an aluminum protective shield, but it also has this integrated sunshade that is kind of genius. So it literally stays out of the way until you need it, and then you can quickly deploy it backwards so the wide field of view it already has will stay unimpeded from direct sunlight or rain. You can literally see in this thing in pretty much all conditions. It has a red 60 MOA circle and a 2 MOA dot right there in the middle with 10 brightness settings, and it's night vision capable. So it uses one CR123A battery with motion sensing auto off and on. They say up to 2,000 hours, so really anywhere from 200 to 2,000 hours depending on the brightness that you use. You have a quick detachable low profile mount. So this thing is waterproof, dustproof, and shockproof with a scratch resistant and non-reflective lens coating. You have 1 MOA adjustments, and one of my favorite features on this is that all the buttons are all on one side of the unit. So you're not reaching across and messing with buttons on both sides. They're all right here with very positive clicks for each one. So you have power, brightness settings, and night vision right there all on the one side. So, like I said, if you're looking for a budget-friendly red dot to fit a multitude of different guns, this might be a good option for you. So as gun owners and people that lawfully carry guns, we're thinking ahead. That's why we carry a gun, right? So you have to think ahead too about what would happen if indeed I actually have to use this gun. We don't carry it to be cool or look cool. We carry it legitimately because we want to be able to potentially save our lives, protect our lives, family, everything. Again, that's kind of why we carry it, right? So if we're thinking ahead and thinking about what could possibly happen, there's some things that I definitely want to avoid. And the first thing that I'm going to bring up is no gun modifications. 2 big things that I think of here. Back plates. Specifically ones that are like, say when, you know, an awesome quote from Doc Holliday. Hell, I love it too, but at the same time, probably not a good look when they bring that gun into evidence. You got to think, man, the lawyer on the other side of that case will bring up any excuse to make it look less like a lawful shoot and more like you intentionally shot this person or accidentally shot this person. That's the last thing you want, man. You being in that state, right? I can only imagine at this point. I've never had to do it, thank God. But if you're in that state, that's the last thing. Man, I had that back plate on my Glock that said "Say When" or "Punisher" or, man, anything that can draw unnecessary attention. As cool as I think they are, I don't think I would be doing that. Trigger modifications is another one. It's like if you lower your Glock or your Smith & Wesson or any gun that you're carrying from 6 pounds to 3 pounds. You just don't make the case that good for you in court. And again, we don't all live in stand your ground states. Now, stand your ground doesn't mean that you can just get away with, you know, just shooting anybody, right? It means what it sounds like. You know, if somebody is trying to harm you or your family, stand your ground means you have no duty to retreat at that point. But we don't all live in states like that, right? So it makes it harder for y'all in states where you do have a duty to retrieve first, obviously, but regardless, you know, these are things that just add unnecessary complications to what can already be something complicated. I mean, look, everywhere you go doesn't have clear cameras, you know, and you hope that most places you go to and now do have cameras. They don't all have cameras. It's not always going to be as clear cut as, yes, he was defending himself, yes, he was defending his life, and now he's free of all charges. It's not the way that works out. And I think specifically in somebody like my case, that would not be the case. That would probably not be the case. I would walk into somewhere where the cameras were broke and they just broke that day or something. And you know what I'm saying? So you're just adding unnecessary complications to that I think just, you know, you really shouldn't do. Now, if you want to modify your competition gun or, you know, your hunting rifle or your AR that you use at the range or whatever, man, I don't care. Dude, I do not care. Don't take this the wrong way like I'm saying, oh, Hegshot said don't modify any guns and you can only modify your hunting rifle. Don't take this out of context, but what I'm saying, your carry gun specifically, I wouldn't make any modifications to it at all. If you want to do a stipple job, you want to put sights, whatever, I don't see those posing a problem at all, you know, unless you put aftermarket sights on your gun and let's say you didn't test them and then you use that gun and you ended up unintentionally shooting, you know, hitting somebody else, well, then you might have a problem there. So I would say get your carry gun, whatever that may be, Shield Plus, shoot it, get good with it, and get good with that gun the way it is. That's it. Don't show anybody. All right, the second thing we're going to talk about is don't show anyone your gun. You know, people are going to start to, especially when you tell people, yeah, man, I got my carry permit, and yeah, hey, can I see that? People did this to me too, man, and they still do to an extent. Some people do. Most people don't, actually, but there's going to be times where they'll be, yeah, hey, can I see your carry gun? This happened to me, and this is a good friend of mine, man, and I'll tell this story. Like I said, we're very good friends, and I didn't know any better, but the reason I bring this up is because it can pose problems for you. I brought it in. Now, the place I used to work before the place I work now, they weren't as strict when it came to things like this, right? So I brought in this gun, and I showed it to my friend. The first thing he does is he was, to an extent, being irresponsible. He's like, oh man, look at Hegshot, yeah. He pops the magazine in, full mag, and racks around. He's like, did that just chamber around? And I was like, yeah, dude, it did. You know what I mean? So if he had poor trigger discipline and he would have had his finger on the trigger, dude, it could have been bad. You know what I mean? I mean, and most likely it would have just put a hole through a freaking set of brake pads, but it could have been worse. So you know what I'm saying? There's no reason for you to pull it out. Now, if you're at the range and somebody says, yeah, you know, but the first thing, boom, check, make sure it's clear, take the mag out, don't give them an opportunity at all. That's your gun. Boom, simple as that. If you have an empty mag, well, and you want to include the mag for whatever reason, I guess, but in general, showing people your carry gun, you know, if you go to a birthday party or something like that and you have a friend that's there and they're like, hey man, yeah, I know you carry a gun, what do you carry? Oh yeah, can I see that? Nah, I'll leave it in the holster here, man. Next time we go to the range, then I'll show you what I carry. But it's this, you know, you can look up a Hegshot video on it so you can see what it looks like, but I'm not going to show it to you, you know, right here. I would just say keep it in its holster, keep it away. And on another side of that, fiddling with it, you know, especially if you're out and about, you're just drawing unnecessary attention to yourself. Nobody sees your gun. Nobody. Trust me. Unless it's just blatantly hanging out, most people they don't have enough time to look up from a cell phone, much less be looking for you with an inconspicuous little bulge in your shirt. So just don't be fiddling with it. Don't be messing with it, and you'll be just fine. This one's going to make some of y'all upset, but I don't really care. No aftermarket magazine extensions or aftermarket magazines in general. I know a lot of y'all like to use maggots and this brand and that brand, and I'm sure they are reliable. I don't use them because when I buy a gun, I want to buy the gun with the most amount of capacity in the most shootable, smallest, lightest frame that I can, which is why I think the Shield Plus, the P365, these guns are just perfect for me. But I don't need to add more capacity to that and maybe cause a malfunction, because yeah, it might work at the range 100% of the time, and then if I have to actually use that gun, that would be the time where I would have an issue. So I don't want to introduce anything that can cause an issue in an already stressful situation. I just think it again, it's unnecessary, dude. If you're carrying a gun that's designed to hold 10, 11, 12 rounds, boom, there you go. Carry a spare mag if you want. That's the way to go. And aftermarket magazines, you're gonna save some money initially, but OEM magazines are designed to run with that gun. They make them for that gun, and that's the only magazine I will ever recommend anybody buy, especially for your carry gun. If you want to try different mags at the range or whatever, you just run through them, or you're doing drills and you don't want to, get a bunch of dirt and sand or whatever into your OEM mags, I totally understand that. But for the carry gun, stick with the OEM mags, man. No magazine extensions or aftermarket extensions to increase the capacity. Roll with what you got, man, or sell that gun, and if the capacity isn't good enough, if you have an original Shield, it only held 7 or 8 rounds, sell it and upgrade. That would be my suggestion to you. Never, ever, ever, ever carry your gun when it's not in a holster, right? Tucking it into your belt, just throwing it in a bag, just slipping it in a pocket. Dude, you guys know I carry Tolster holsters. That's who 95% of the time when I'm carrying a Tolster holster. You're talking about, and some of y'all say that, oh, they're so expensive and stuff. Dude, you can buy a $20 holster off of Amazon. It might be great. It might be a piece of crap. I'm gonna trust that if you bought a gun, you're willing to invest some money into what you're doing. A $60 holster, dude, that is quality, no matter who that, it doesn't have to be holster, but most quality holsters, you'll notice 60, 70 bucks. That it is what it is, especially for Kydex and stuff. It's just worth the investment. But if all you can afford is a $20 holster, don't take this like, I'm just saying that you have to carry a $60, $80, $100 holster. If all you can afford is a $20 holster, and it's going to be between that $20 holster and you just throwing it into your pants or into your belt, whatever, get the $20 holster. Just don't carry the gun without a holster, man, especially chamber. I preach to people, man, carry on a loaded chamber. Get very comfortable with that, because that's going to give you the quickest amount of time to be able to save your life. You don't want to be fumbling around, racking the slide in a stressful situation that could take 7 to 10 seconds or less. That's precious time. So get comfortable with that. Be safe with the gun, right? All that good stuff. But carry in a good holster. Never carry a gun without a holster. I think that's really enough said on that particular one. And then the last one. Don't think that just any hollow point is going to work in any gun. Now, I've had this happen. I kept this last because this has happened so few times to me that it's very negligible, the chance of that happening, but it could happen, right? So you hear me, most of the time I'm carrying spear gold dots, or I'm carrying critical defense, right? Or critical duties. And so I like those rounds, especially spear gold dots. They're just proven, and we're going to start doing ballistic tests here, man, and I'm excited to do that. I got my gelatin blocks and all that good stuff, so it's going to be cool. And we can test these different ones, right? But I trust that spear gold dot is great. I had an M&P 9C. That was the very first gun I ever bought. It was one of the original M&Ps too. And I bought some, man, I want to say it was like Bully Dog, Guard Dog. I don't even remember what type they were. I want to say Guard Dog, but I could be wrong. Anyways, they would not chamber into the Smith & Wesson. No matter what I did, it just would not go up the feed ramp. So I wouldn't just tell you to, hey, yeah, go buy some spare gold dots, run in your gun. Most likely they'll work, but you want to make sure that you run them, get used to how that round specifically is going to shoot, and then, you know, you can feel comfortable enough to actually carry that. But make sure it works, make sure it chambers first of all, make sure you're used to where that specific bullet and that grain bullet, where that bullet hits, because your regular target ammo in that round is gonna be different. And then, there you go. You know it works. Don't just assume that any hollow point is just gonna work in your gun. I'm also not the person that's going to shoot my carry ammo more than target ammo, because carry ammo is super expensive. Most of the time when I'm shooting FMJs, target ammo, 115 grain. So because I don't shoot my carry ammo a lot, you want to make sure about once a year you run through it, buy some new ones, make sure those feed. So you do want to be diligent. I don't think you have to run your carry ammo all the time. Just make sure that you're used to it. And that's it. So those are the top 5 things I would say never do with your carry gun. I cannot wait to see what kind of list I get from y'all on this one. Thank you. Again, if you want to support me, Patreon is a great way to do that. Make sure you subscribe, hit your notifications. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.